Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us either this afternoon, if that's where you are, if it's afternoon there, or this morning, if it's morning like where I am. This is Ruth McCartney. She will be leading our webinar today. Ruth, if you'd like to take it away.
Okay. Hello, my name is Ruth McCartney. I'm in York, in England, in the UK. I'm a white woman, identify as female, have long dark hair, slightly touched up to make it a bit more dark today. And I'm wearing glasses, a cream top, and bluey green necklace. I'm, just said to Danae and Michelle, absolutely delighted and honoured to be accepted onto the team to deliver Wednesday webinars for Musicplay. And thrilled to be the first presenter from over the water, despite the fact it does mean it's a funny time for other people. Musicplay is a very much a Canadian company, so I'm really grateful to the Musicplay Online team that this is able to happen late afternoon for us. A little bit about me. I started my career as a generalist class teacher with music as my main subject. Then after 5 years, I specialised in classroom teaching, supporting and teaching teachers so that they could deliver primary music. I was a specialist music teacher for Ebor Academy Trust, working in several of their schools for nearly 25 years. And then for about 10 years, I worked with the music leads of 26 primary schools and one senior school. I joined the Voices Foundation in 1996, and I teach teachers now who go, oh, I wasn't born then, which is always reassuring, which is an educational charity influenced by Kudai methodology, created to support teachers in the classroom, using the voice as the teaching tool. And I worked for them as an advisory teacher, then a senior advisory teacher in the north of England and northeast and Yorkshire. I've lectured for postgraduate and graduate courses in York, Humberside, and on a mixture of schools direct passages. So courses, not words. So let's go to today. Let me just share that one. So this is what we're going to do. What did we learn in music today? That is the plan. So our learning objectives today are a glimpse into how to incorporate Musicplay Online in early years and foundation stage in the UK, which to me is really important. To identify and find the singing voice and to use that voice to introduce rhythm, linking the sound to speech with a singing voice. Introducing basic music vocabulary, pulse, beat, duration, long and short pattern, and pitch. I realise that you can read all of this, but I'm saying it anyway. So, and I really do think Musicplay Online should come to England a bit more. So, although Musicplay Online is Canadian, I'm today working within the national curriculum for here in the UK, and these are the links to the documentation you may need for developing musical matters, which is the Early Years Foundation, interweaving the whole of music into the curriculum, national plan, model music curriculum, and our national curriculum. I always start every lesson with singing. I'm just going to stop sharing because that went too far. There we go. When you sing, you use an instrument that belongs to you, only to you. It's cheap. Everybody has one, and using the voice is a fantastic learning tool. Out of there. So, welcome to music is a wonderful way to start your lesson. So, let's sing. Hopefully, yes. That's there. I've used this so much, and the children have benefited so much from this song. It's a call and response song in 3 sections. Call and response, unison, call and response. And the whole class learned to sing together. Because in order to find the voice, you need to use it. And I love it. So when you look at the song first, it's available and you click onto it with an accompaniment, with videos with the lyrics, with videos with the notation, with children's demo videos, with body percussion, with instrument play-alongs, with ideas for teachers, song activities, piano notation. I need to take another breath. And the body percussion is really suitable. Because if you're not challenging older children, they're going to go, oh, I don't really want to do that. Well, some of them after they've finished a certain number of exams in year 6 in the UK, they need something else. So I would then use the song, which they've learnt before and they've come across before, as something just to challenge them slightly more than they were thinking might happen. Let me just find my song and share my page. I like to have a go at this because it's actually quite tricky. I thought, oh, this will be fine. This will be really easy. And actually, it's tricky. Where is it? And it is suitable for older children because they like to join in with things. So join in, see if you can do it.
Welcome to music. Welcome to music. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Gonna do some singing. Gonna do some singing. Gonna use our ears. Gonna use our ears. We're going to have a lot of fun, 'cause music time has just begun. Welcome to music. Welcome to music. Glad you're here. Glad you're here.
So when I first started using this, we would use rhythm tapping fingers, and I'd call them rhythm tapping fingers. I don't have children doing rhythm that way because it's a cross-lateral skill and there's too much going on in the brain and there's potential for accidents. So I have a fixed point and use rhythm tapping fingers. So I'd sing, welcome to music, and they'd copy. I'm going to put the words onto my hands. Welcome to music. And by giving, my hands are too low, the opportunity for the children then to sing, it's your turn, but I don't sing with the children. I was always taught by Michael Stokes at the Voices Foundation, don't sing with. If you want someone to do something, then you actually need to let them do it. And I'll use gesture to say, yes, please, can I hear more? But I don't sing with the children, but I do tell them I'm not going to. So we have our rhythm tapping fingers, which at the moment I'm only describing as put the words on your hands. The unison section in the middle, we're going to have a lot of fun, which is the pulse, which is the beat. We're keeping a steady beat. Now, in my class, there will be some cards. And whenever I mention the word pulse, it only happens for about the first 10 minutes of the lesson. Who has the card pulse? And if they are children who haven't worked out initial letters yet, we'll find a friend who will help tell me what pulse is. Pulse is the steady beat. Can you feel it in your feet? And once that child's recognised and said the rhyme with everybody else and shown me what pulse is, they give the card to somebody else, so that there's an opportunity for the next time I say pulse and somebody else goes, oh, it's this. And we go, what is it? And we all say the words pulse again. Same with rhythm. Rhythm is a pattern of long and short sounds. Rhythm is a pattern of long and short sounds. So the words, the vocabulary is already in there. The middle section, we're going to have a lot of fun, is the beat. And I encourage the children to compose their own pattern. Can they do a pattern with their friend to keep the beat? So again, we're beginning to use the words pulse, rhythm, and composing. So now that the children are participating in a group, I encourage them to contribute individually. If they would like to. They don't always want to straight away, but I have to say the hello chant is superb for this. for encouraging children to contribute verbally, but still with a lot of support. Now, there are 2 videos. Oops, let's move that out of the way. No, move that. Come on. There are 2 videos which I've got here, because we all have children who aren't quite ready to join in. But seeing Denise working with a class of real children is really, really important, because she shows that not every child... Is this in the middle of your screen? Sorry, let me just move it. Oh, there we are. She shows that not every child is ready to join in. And it's really important that we do have that idea as teachers that we don't have to be able to get it perfect. So, oh, it's doing the wrong thing. That's where I need to be. So, having a momentary IT failure. Right. So Denise's demos, one is very much early years foundation stage where they haven't got used to speaking. And the next one is a more confident response.
Hello chat. I say hello to you and you say hello to whoever I said, using the same kind of voice. Beat, beat, feel the beat. Say hello to those you meet. Hello Chanel. Hello Chanel. Hello Jasmine. Jasmine. Hello Ina. Hello Ina. Hello Danielle. Hello Ray. Hello Josie. Hello Josie. Hello Ella. Hello Ella. Hello Ariana. Hello Ariana. Hello Ian. Hello Ian. Hello Eli. Hello Eli. Hello Favor. Hello Favor. Hello.
And so on. And you can see from there that there is a lot of support. Let's just go out and down a bit. Sorry. Stop share, go back to the other one. Learning curve. That's the one. Oh. Danae, would you be able to show the other video, please? I've just turned off the wrong ones. It's the second video on demonstration, getting a more confident response.
To just find my email. You said the second video,
yes, the second one of demonstration, getting a more confident response.
Absolutely. Give me just 1 second, folks.
Sorry about that.
That's all good.
And have I got finding it again?
All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, thank you.
All right, perfect. Let me know if you can't hear audio.
I brought some fun stuff to you today. I brought the egg shakers. Beat, beat, feel the beat. Say hello to those you meet. Can you say my poem with me? Beat, beat, say the beat. Say hello to those you meet. And now I'll say hello to Madison and you say hello in the same way I did. Hello, Madison. Hello, Madison. Hello, Kira. Hello, Kira. Hello, Leah. Hello, Leah. Hello, Raya. Hello, Raya. Hello, Nate. Hello, Nate. Hello, Regine. Hello, Regine. Hello, Isabella. Hello, Isabella. Hello, Victoria. Hello, Victoria. Hello, such good singing when we did our beat song. She'll grab in an instrument I haven't brought before.
Thank you. So, in the meantime, I have found the bit that I need, but I haven't got quite as far as I should have done on getting it all back on track. Right. Okay. So let me just share my screen again. Oh, you wouldn't believe I had practiced this first too either. Right. Share screen. There we go. So you'll have noticed that Denise used lots of different voices. And there was an awful lot of support with there. So when we get a bit further, have you brought your talking voice? It takes it away from separate voices and we go back to everybody speaking. So I use Stripey for the purposes of not being able to have my face on view if a child is really shy. And so if I'm asking everyone, have you brought your talking voice? Yes, I've brought my talking voice. Have you brought a high voice? Yes, brought a high voice. Have you brought a whispering voice? Yes, and it's really useful to then put pictures of different voices and a puppet with a mouth into your music area, because then the children are able to go and take what you've done in your session and go and play and learn together. I don't use a shouting voice because I don't feel it's great practice for shouting in the classroom, and it's not really a musical voice. In order to develop rhythm, I will then say for the thinking voice, and the children then tap that same rhythm. So that's tapping the words again. Yes, I brought my thinking voice. So, and my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. This song is one I use a lot. Hello, how are you? And the answer is very well, thank you. I sing it to the whole class. And if I've got children who are still using a very low voice and they haven't found a higher voice yet, oops, let me just move that up a bit, then I'll move the pitch to where they are. Hello, everyone, how are you? They will answer very well, thank you. Hello, yellow team, how are you? Very well, thank you. Because it's easier to sing as a whole group. And then gradually we make the group smaller, and then you change to an individual. So again, hello, have a picture for hello, how are you? And a puppet with a mouth so that somebody else can take that individual responsibility and go and sing. Similar in that we're still using two pitches. I use hello, hey, hey, look at me. Hey, hey, look at me. I am singing, you can see. So I'm about to find it because it's easier to find it, I think, from here than ask every time. So when I type in, I'm going to type in song list, or I might type in under discover, but for the moment, I'm going to type in, hey, hey, look at me, because that's the song I'm looking for. And the amazing thing is that about Musicplay Online, there's not just the song, there's absolutely everything. In some ways, it's quite useful for those of you in the UK who haven't seen Musicplay Online, because this shows you everything. So we're going to do it just with lyrics. We could do it with notation, but we're going to do it with just lyrics. I can't see whether my screen is sharing. Danae, is my screen sharing?
Not sharing yet.
Any minute now, it will. In that case, I'll go back to showing you that again. Oh,
there we are.
This as well. There we are. Right. So I'm going to take you back, because when you click onto Musicplay Online, you get the choice of how you want to sing, which is what I've just said and not shown you. So you could go discover or song list, and I typed in, hey, hey, look at me. So we can have it with notation, which is just treble clef line, or lyrics, teacher demos, and so on. There is so much with just one song. So we're going to do it with notation. I'm going to stop it there because I often give the children these as well, these pulse hearts. So after they've done all the actions in the song, could they then tap the pulse heart on the pulse? And the child with the pulse will go, I've got the word pulse. What's pulse? Pulse is, and so on. So there are lots of other ways we're still exploring. We need the pulse so that we make sure that the rhythm fits in exactly. I'm going to stop that because I don't want to run out of time. So what's the pulse? What's the rhythm? The pulse is a steady beat. The rhythm is a pattern of song, pattern of long and short notes. And then while we're exploring beat and rhythm, I'm going to keep it on share because actually it's sometimes quite useful to find out where things are. So I'm going to look for a difference between a game that is pulse and rhythm, beat and rhythm. Just get up a bit. No, move that out of the way so I can. And the children really love this. Early years children love playing games, as we know. How do I get that out of the way to do this? New skill. Is it beat? Is it rhythm? And you gradually build up a drum kit. And you're listening for long and short sounds. That's quite tricky, I have to say. That is quite tricky. So let's go back to Hey, Hey, Look at Me. I need that to move out of the way. So I go back to our songs. Do you ever feel that sometimes technology isn't on your side for the day? So we're now going to look at pulse and rhythm. I don't know quite how to get rid of this bit. Yeah, and so we're going to prepare beat and rhythm. So we could point to the beat. And start. These are for teachers. These are not necessarily for children. I would use these for children, not this necessarily, unless they all have Chromebooks.
Ready, go. Hey, hey, look at me. I am clapping, you can see.
So we've got our hearts. Could they tap at the same time, tapping the beat?
Ready, go. Hey, hey, look at me. I am clapping, you can see.
As I say, this is the progression for pulse and rhythm. We're now looking at syllables.
Ready,
Not
go.
long,
Hey,
long,
hey,
short,
look
short,
at
long,
me.
short,
I
short.
am clapping, you can see.
Which is it? Is it beat? Is it rhythm? So you clap a pattern. Which is it? If you give the children off we go, they'll sing the song in their thinking voice and point to the right answer. Having practiced a lot with pulse and rhythm, they then have a much easier way to work it out rather than the game.
Ready, go.
Is it beat? Is it rhythm? Let's assume rhythm. Well done, and so on. Can we then use one sound, two sounds to match the beat? The more the children use these, the better it is. So we might have gone, hey, 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 look at me. But then could you actually tap the words onto the pulse hearts? Hey, hey, look at me. I've done this recently with teachers on a training program, and it was literally an earth-shattering lightning moment. And they went, oh, but that fits on that one. So by playing the games, it really does mean that you're preparing for rhythm. Hey, hey, look at me. A little bit further down the line. One stem is one syllable. One stem is one sound. In this song, obviously not in others. So we then add, and you can't put the wrong one in. It won't let you, which is a great way of having the children learn about rhythm. But actually, what I would then do is take everything away and do little games and share them around the classroom so that children can play those games themselves. They can see what you do on the board and take it away to their music areas. So we get to the end of our lesson. Now I have to find my resources again now, because I unfortunately left them somewhere else and shut the thing off. So if you give me, oh, as if by chance, let me just share that. I found it. For some reason, it's come back. You'd think after all the stuff we did in lockdown, it would have been easy to find it all, wouldn't it? Okay. So foundation stage tree would look like this. This is what I would use at the end of a lesson, because what we needed to do is we needed to remember what we'd done. Because if your foundation stage children are like any of the ones I used to teach, we'd have a great time, we'd remember it while we were there, and then they'd go off and do something else and they'd forget. So what we'd do is we'd have a tree. It's not a tree as such, but it has a branch, it has branches, it has a trunk, and it has the yellow blocks, which are the main elements. So that by the end of a few weeks in term one of my school's foundation tree looked a bit like this. So we might have the instruments, we might have a lute, we might have the drum, the tambourine. We only had the lute because my son plays. Therefore, we could find demonstrations. We had the high-low game, a loud and quiet game. You can tell which part of the year we're doing with this. This was the singing. So we talked about rhythm and explained its link with syllables and being a pattern of long and short sounds, used rhythm tapping fingers, and tap the rhythm of the song. Hey, hey, look at me, and begun to compose at the beginning of level by changing activities in that, hey, hey, look at me, I am tapping, I am waving. That's the beginning of composing. They're starting to change something to make it different. So how can we use the children's experience to develop rhythmic composition? Here's another song, which is very easy to prepare for composing, and it involves a cherry. So I'll get rid of that for the moment and teach you the song. I, me, oh my, how I like my cherry pie. My go, your go. I, me, oh my, how I like my cherry pie. So what I will ask the children to do is pass the cherry pie round while I sing the song. And so obviously some songs are more challenging, so you need to teach them. The songs are either caught or taught. So this one's going to be caught. I'm not going to teach it to the children, but by magic, suddenly they'll learn it. So here goes the pear cherry pie. Off I go. And I'll still point to myself because I'm not expecting the children to sing. I, me, oh my, how I like my cherry pie. Oh, there you are, Alex. You've got the pie. What should we put in the pie? Something with 2 sounds. Cherry, apple, rhubarb, pumpkin. And if they can't think of an idea, I will give them an idea. Can the children or teachers, when you're training them, then sing the song and put in the new pie? Always, actually. Children are slightly better at it than adults because they're so busy concentrating on passing the pie around and not getting it and trying to hand it to somebody else. The children often miss out that pie, but you're composing. You're doing something new with it. So let's make it pumpkin pie. Off we go. I, me, oh my, how I like my pumpkin pie. And we play that game so many times until we start to do something else with it. We'll tap the beat with it. We'll tap the rhythm of it. And where's it? It was there before. How can these things just disappear? 2 seconds ago, it was there. Right. Ah, there we are. Right. So we've got our cherry pie. Could we change the pattern? Cherry pie, cherry pie. Could we work out the pattern of the rhythm of the long and short sounds? Which one is long? Pie is long. Cherry is 2 short ones. Could we put them into our rhythm to make a new one? Oh, sorry, it'll have to come off. There. Cherry, cherry, cherry pie. Can we all tap this new rhythm? Off we go. Cherry, cherry, cherry pie. You won't find that the children will sing it to the same tune as the song that they've just heard. What about changing the rhythm round? Could we change it to pie, pie, cherry, cherry, and ask a child to come and compose and to notate what you've just asked them to do? Also done the same with other fruits. Pumpkin pie, cherry, apple. Bit more complex, but worth playing. So we could compose with all sorts of things, and it's so easy with Google Slides to do that. Now, there are lots and lots of rhythms, progressive pre-rhythm activities on Musicplay Online. Danae, would you be able to please share the carrots and peas video? So having played with pumpkin, peas, carrots, peas, corn, and so on, I then give the children carrot, corn, lots and lots of cards, and give them a mixture of them so that they then go and compose their own rhythms. Tell me when you're there.
Just pulling it up.
Okay, and so they will compose their own rhythms and then play them. And when we're getting a bit more advanced, we'll add in different sorts. But there is the most fantastic video of Denise showing you the progression of pre-rhythm to notation.
Sorry, I'm just realizing I didn't share my audio. One moment. There we go. All right.
Boys and girls, we're going to do some vegetable rhythms today. I'm going to say them, you say it back. Then I'm going to clap and say, you clap and say it back. Then I'm going to clap them, you clap it back. And then I'm going to do body percussion and say them, and you do it back. Ready? Here we go. Carrot, carrot, peas, peas.
Carrot, carrot, peas, peas.
Carrot, carrot, peas, peas.
Carrot, carrot, peas, peas.
Carrot, Carrot, peas. Carrot, peas.
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 So you can see it's not just the rhythm, it's putting it into notation, early notation. You've got a split beat to see the two sounds of a rhythm. Body percussion, that's really tricky. More tricky sometimes for older children than it is for younger children. So let's look at what we've done during the lesson today. If I'd used that with, oh, forgot to share the screen. Come on. And as Artie would say, it's not difficult, it's just new. So we've got to the end of a session today with foundation stage, early years, pre-K and K. And what have we written in? We've talked about pitch, things going high and low. We've talked about pulse. And we'd have our child jump up and say, pulse is a steady beat. Can you feel it in your feet? We've talked about rhythm. Rhythm is a pattern of long and short sounds. And we have explored timbre. I don't think I mentioned the word before, but timbre is, someone once described it as the colour of the sound, but what it sounds like. Timbre. Speaking voice. Have you brought your speaking voice? Have you brought a high voice? It's the different sounds. So this would be today's learning tree. And we're always taught it's really important to reinforce and help children remember what they're learning, especially certainly in the UK where people come and ask. And they ask a child, well, what have you learned today? What do you remember about today? And sometimes I can't remember what I ate for tea yesterday. So having a prompt is really helpful. So we'll always talk during the lesson about musical vocabulary and musical concepts and letting the children, so letting them write something for themselves or draw something or talk through it gives them a bit more individual responsibility. In Key Stage 1, my 5 to 7 years would have a printed tree. And it was stuck into a workbook that, I mean, it's not a workbook that gets marked. It's not a workbook that anybody does checks. It's about something for them to remember things. We used to use it with colouring mandalas when they were listening to music or hearing music for the first time until they were familiar enough to listen. And at the end of the music session, I'd encourage them to talk about which songs and rhymes they remember and decide where to put them on their learning tree. We might discuss which instruments are used, and there might be a branch for tapping instruments, one for shaking, one for scraping, depending on the learning focus. I also had a wall display with musical vocabulary. So if the children weren't sure, we could find the meaning of the musical language. These are free from Twinkle, which is a UK company. And if we weren't sure and we couldn't remember what rhythm was, or we couldn't remember what tempo was, we'd go and look and we'd go and check on the wall with something that was fairly accessible. Older children would draw their own tree. Again, in a workbook, in a jotter, and as you can tell, poison rhythm isn't spelt properly, but that wasn't the issue. For me, the point was they remembered and they wrote something down. They would also use this same book for group composition, listening. This was an 8-year-old's tree, though. So in my music classrooms, I would have an interactive hot air balloon, not a real one, shaped on the walls, not that one. And it had musical words on it and personal achievement words and ticks for where to place them. So not everybody learns something new every lesson. And I know we write our learning objectives, but I would write a teaching objective that said, because music is cumulative and it's still important to talk about the learning, including why children did or didn't like something, whether they remembered it well, And that in itself is learning. And so I would give the children, I have a set of these green ticks, and they would choose where they'd like to put their tick for that day. And individual children would add a tick to a music lesson and then explain why they'd chosen to talk about that part of the lesson. And after we'd learnt the basic vocabulary, we'd add more options so that the balloons held a little more choice. And in Key Stage 2, we'd have a few more. And consolidating learning does allow for all the musical learning to be acknowledged, but I also found that sometimes, especially after the pandemic, emotionally it was enough for some children just to acknowledge that they'd tried hard today. So I added these to my balloon, my learning balloon. And this is one of my learning baskets of balloons, I will show you. And often a child might not feel okay, but they want to put a tick on. And so we had one here. Now, I was cutting these out one lunchtime. They're not the most beautifully snipped. But a few children asked to help me in this particular school when I was cutting them out. So there are some very wonky circles on there, but it mattered more to me that the children had helped and wanted to help make our learning tree rather than how perfect their scissors skills were. So how do you get the children to put on their tick for the day? As I mentioned, not everyone's able to remember what's happened in the lesson, or they might have other things going on their lives. So it might just be that they were happy with their personal learning today. But musical prompts, which songs did you enjoy today? And after we'd sung the song, what else did we do with it? And Jemima might not remember, but her friend Tilly and May, they might. And so they'd have a chat and they'd come and tell me, can you show me what you did? Perfect example for reinforcement. Who can describe what we did using music vocabulary? Did you listen to any music today? And can you describe the music? That's really hard, but it's worth asking every time. Who can remember the name of the composer? And sometimes a child might not be able to remember, but they do want to put the tick, but they don't actually say so. And so if there's somebody who always puts ticks on and always has their hand up, ask them if they can find somebody else that they could say, well, do you think actually you could suggest someone who was polite and kind in music today? Who would you suggest? Who helped a friend without being asked? And ask your eager beavers if they could actually suggest somebody else who listened really carefully. So there are always opportunities for confidence building in music. And I took the perfect picture thinking this was great. And then I realized somebody had got the word sing, had turned it round the opposite way for me before you take the photograph. Hey, in the big picture, they thought it was funny until I noticed. So it is what it is. Now, I've got the wrong slides because I have the most perfect slide on the end of here with all the links for, I'm going to have to come out of that one. So with the links for finding out more about Musicplay Online. I do hope you have signed up for the free symposium, because that'll be great, I have to say. I love Musicplay Online. I'm going to try very quickly to find the right slide. Musicplay Online, it's got so much to offer teachers. So much. And so much to offer teachers who are not totally confident in teaching music themselves. Musicians, music teachers, yes, but the people who are very good teachers and not really secure about how to do it, this is the perfect thing for you. I have to say, I can't speak highly enough about Musicplay Online. I will learn how to get my Zoom sharing screens better. That's my plan. That is what I will work to achieve. Thank you very much to the Musicplay Online team and for coming to my rescue. For facilitating so that I wasn't delivering the webinar, one, at a very strange time for the UK, But if you want to find out more, I will give me 2 seconds. I will unshare and find what I'm looking for, and then share it back with you.
I can actually I have it pulled up here as a PDF.
Yes, please.
And it's also linked for folks to download as well if they would like to after this session. This is the screen you were talking about?
Nope.
Oh, my apologies.
That's all right. It's the PDF of the slides to go out to everybody else, but it has information and links about where the other webinars are. Because
here?
That's the one.
Perfect.
Because I hadn't ever really found them. I'd always been used Denise's books, but I hadn't really looked further afield, like YouTube and so on. And so the 2 yellow boxes are about the summer symposium. But if you want to find out more about Musicplay Online, the links are up there, and there are more videos on YouTube. And the ones which Denise has done are unbelievable. Worth watching. It will change how you want to teach. And there are more Wednesday webinars available on there. Some absolutely corkers of Wednesday webinars, and they will show you around the site too. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I will also plug here, we are having a pair of Musicplay Online walkthrough free webinars at the end of August 21st and August 29th, that our team will also be hosting if you'd like to learn more about the site. But back to our webinar today, I do have a couple of questions for you from the chat. So somebody asks, what form of assessments do you use for individuals if you have a large class of more than 30?
I always sing the register every day, every session that I see the children. And I do always say, well, it's part of what you need to do. It's part of what we're doing. And if you're not ready to sing, use a different voice, but you need to be able to tell me which voice it is. If I'm assessing pitch, then I do a sound recording at the beginning of the term, and I do a sound recording at the end of the term. How specific an answer would you like? I mean, I have written things for schools, but
I think that probably suffices. The next questions are actually all from the same person, more about assessments, so we can get into it if we need to.
Yeah, go for
they
it.
also ask, what types of assessments do you use or recommend for English language learning students?
Well, it's interesting because each school or each academy probably will have its own for using English or for using in England. I'm assuming in
I believe in English language.
Right. Whatever you're doing, it has to fit in with the national curriculum. And the national curriculum for Key Stage 1 is about this big, and the national curriculum for Key Stage 2 is about this big. So the actual details are small, but it's worth looking at the model music curriculum because they're within that and within the new documentation, all of which there's links for. It very much depends on your school, on the person who is your music lead. I used to have fairly extensive ones for me, but not quite as detailed for other people who are teaching music who weren't musicians initially, who are generalist teachers, not music specialists. Me, I'd go, can we sing a so-mi interval? Can we echo pitch match? Like, hello, how are you? Very well, thank you. It's a classic. It's really good because you could, if you could set your class to video, or set your Chromebook up to video and set one child off singing to the person next to them, hello, how are you? And their answer is very well, thank you. Set the other side going, hello, how are you? You can then tell as it goes all the way around, and then the two that meet at the far side find it hilariously funny that they're both asking each other questions and singing the same answer. But you've then got it recorded and you can then work out yourself whether they've got a 2-pitch sound, whether they've got mi, so, la, whether they've got 3, whether they've got 4. It depends on what you want. I mean, it might be that someone can sing all the songs from Frozen perfectly, but they can't get to so mi interval. So depends on, I'm going to say I can't be too prescriptive about other people's schools because there isn't a standard. It depends on what you're using. If you're using POW or if you're using Charanga or Sing Up or all these other things, all these other, I don't mean things, websites, supports musical systems and music curriculum online. They all have their own. And I always used to adapt so it suited what I was doing. But there are printed ones. I can share those on I can send copies to Danae or put them on my website and you can have a look, but they're all pretty freely available. What I would do personally would be for me and what suits what I'm teaching.
Right, wonderful. We've got some inspiration for assessment questions. Do you modify assessments for students who have special needs or additional needs?
Well, I'm going to say no, actually. Depends on what the need is. I ran a choir in a Key Stage 3 and 4 special school, and my choir, it was unaccompanied most of the time, and they had to get the starting pitch right. It depends on what you want from them. And some of the staff would go, oh, but they're trying. Yeah, but it's not right. If they want to do it, they want to achieve it, and they want to do it. And you don't say, 5 and 6 is 11. Ah, there you go. It's really, you tried hard. 5 and 6 isn't 11. It's the same in pitch. I once had a child in a school where I was doing model lessons for a couple of weeks who had Downs. And we were doing, listen, listen, here I come. Someone special gets the drum. And she was the only person who could walk the beat, tap the rhythm on a drum with a drumstick, which is harder than just on your hand, and sing in tune. And all the rest of these children were ballet lessons and music lessons, and she was the only one who could do it. So did I need to modify? Possibly not. I don't tend to, unless it's something very, very physical and someone is less able to move. But on the whole, no. I had an elective mute who's year 6, your grade 6, who didn't sing to me the whole year. Sing the register, and I'd say, look, it's fine. Just acknowledge that I'm here because that's polite. Just wave. And so she would wave. And then there was a composition where they had a song and they had to create 2 or 3 different ostinato patterns and have at least 2 people singing it in their groups. And I wasn't expecting anything, but literally I wish I'd videoed it because I surprised I didn't fall over. We got to theirs and she said, off we go. She sang the whole thing and none of the other teachers kind of went, you're kidding, really? And so, no, I don't modify. I don't, because everybody, I tend to find that people who, your classic A-star academic, whatever, don't necessarily have the same skills as your special needs, for want of a better word, children, because everybody approaches it with their own ability. And I don't see that it's a major issue. Which is probably very, very contentious. But I do make space and I do accommodate what might need to be happening, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's always for special needs children. Put it that way.
Right, lovely, thank you. And I think we have time for one more question. Again, another assessment question. This person asks, and you kind of answered this earlier, how do you conduct music assessments, individual and group, or individual or group? How do you go about that?
Depends on what it's for. A lot, and because this was more early years foundation stage, it's more to do with group participation. Have they found their singing voice within the group. Can they tap the rhythm? That's a yes or no answer. Can they tap the pulse? Can they walk the beat? Take videos, video anything that you're going to do, and then you decide what you want to assess out of it. Because not in a million years with a class of 30 children are you going to remember it. Or remember, oh yes, Jemima did that. Oh, actually, at the same time, somebody over there was doing this, this, and this. That was correct. And can you just sit down for the moment? We're not quite ready to go. And you've forgotten what Jemima did. So video it as much as you possibly can. It's for your use and it's the school's use. I mean, I used to do it and then delete it all after I'd clicked it off. But I used to I had to have 3 assessments per term for each class, and each individual for each class, so that I could see myself what they're doing in pitch and whether it's better the next year. And so I would have, let's say, 6 throughout the whole time they're in school, so that they would have foundation stage, year 1, year 2, that's 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. And whatever happened in that one, have the yes, nearly, no. And so there's not a great degree of they've nearly got it a bit more, they've almost got it. It's yes, you have, or no, you haven't, because you need to be able to do that, because you don't need to do that with, 200 children by the time you need to do all your assessments. And I didn't always do all my assessments right at the end of the half term or the term. I would do them as I was going along, and then we'd talk about it still, so that it was still in their mind what they were doing and why they'd done it.
All right, wonderful. Well, that looks like it is all of our questions, and we are pretty much at time as well. So thank you so much for leading a webinar today for us, Ruth. That was lovely and very informative.
And terrible IT skills. Absolutely dreadful
No,
IT skills, but they'll get better.
You did fantastic. But yes, thank you so much for joining us. We will have more Wednesday webinars in the next few weeks. And also, if you're interested, please join us at this summer's free virtual symposium. Yeah, in that case, enjoy the rest of your days, whether it's morning or afternoon, where you're joining us from. Thanks again, Ruth, and we will see you all later. Goodbye.